Alright, welcome back to the Let's Play. We're going to kick things off with a bang with this Stoic minigame, and I also have a guest. Once again, Finleyfan is in the house.
What's up?
So we ended last time with them being dragged underwater, and now we have this this Lodite fighting minigame. And this proved to be unexpectedly controversial, actually. Not because of its content, but just the difficulty, I guess. It turned out, and this wasn't something we really considered at the time, but these quick time, like reflex-based minigames are almost like just impossibly difficult for some people. And so they would, be at this point, get really into the game, but just not able to clear the sequence at all. So that was always a little hard to hear, because I like this game. I like this thing. I think Mark did a really good job with it. But it just sucks to hear that, some people are just hitting the wall. I don't know what your experience was like doing it.
Now, this one I never had a problem with, but I'm curious, did anyone ever have an issue doing the Bull Rush game? A similar kind of thing?
Yeah, I think we did hear that a couple times, but that one's, I think, more forgiving. Oh,
yeah, that clip right right there, that's tough. I mean, even for like the most quick twitch person.
Yeah, the arrow thing was always pretty hard. Back in the day, there we go. Back in the day, I was really good at it, but it's been a while.
So I'm assuming Stoic can breathe underwater. It's a stupid question, but
yeah. Well, that was the impetus for the whole puzzle. I remember Mark told me this. He was trying to come up with a really good way to end the dungeon, and he wanted it to be based on Stoic, because Stoic hadn't done a whole lot, because Shroud had been blowing logs around, and Finley had been shooting stuff, but Stoic hadn't really done anything. So he was talking to a friend of his, and the guy says, well, what can Stoic do that the rest of them can't do? And one of the things he came up with was breathe underwater. So that was the creation of that puzzle.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like these pissed off mushroom guys. It's a good battler.
Yeah, I don't want to do too much fighting right now. I'm just trying to get to the cave. This is a bit of a little tip for people playing this game. This is the only point in the game where you can get the treasure I'm about to get. It's not like a great treasure or anything, but this is the cave where there's a boss fight later. And this is the only chance you get to sort of freely wander in and get that.
What's the hard hat do?
It's just a good helmet, and it's used as the basis for some of the crafting stuff too. But I know it kind of frustrates people, because they get to the boss fight, which is coming up later, and they see that chest and like, how do I get that chest? But you never have another chance. You got one shot at that one.
Completionists, they'll piss them right off.
Yes. And run into that a few times in this game, just given its linear nature. It's sort of unavoidable. Although we did in the 7th arc, you do revisit some of these places, so you might be able to nab a few.
You referenced punching trees in the last one, right?
I didn't explain that, which I might as well now. If you remember the show Doug, it's a 90s show. You probably know it if you've seen it. It's got like all these kids in junior high, but it's got all this like weird a cappella music, and all the kids are like different colors. Like Doug's best friend is blue, and like the girl he's got a crush on is orange. But the show was, I really liked the show because it was really honest about like just the constant fear of embarrassment, I guess, that sort of defines that age, where you're like, what do you call it, junior high or middle school, just that like 6th, 7th, 8th grade time. You're just living in fear of being embarrassed, and that was always like sort of the gist for a lot of Doug's problems, was that something was going to happen that was going to embarrass him. And so that was why I took to the show. And there's an episode where they go camping, and the school bully Roger who's hilarious. He's such a good character. Starts telling Doug this tall tale about like trees that punch. that in the forest that there were these trees that will actually just like start punching you. And I'm backtracking now to get some of the treasures, by the way, that you can't get until the dungeon's over. So after Roger tells his story and Doug's like, really? He just has this hilarious line, and I gotta look up who the voice actor was because the guy was so good. But he just goes, "That's right, Funny." Doug's last name is Funny. Punching trees.
But then he has this hilarious like vision of like himself getting held by a tree, and then like another tree like putting up like fists like a boxing match and just starts like socking him. It's just ridiculous. It's really funny. And the point about the voice acting, those of you who have seen Orange is the New Black, Yoga Jones is voiced by Patty Mayonnaise, and it's really weird, as you'd expect, because she's like a 7-year-old woman. It's odd.
Really?
Yeah, she's in Orange is the New Black, and she plays like an inmate who like accidentally shot a kid because she was so messed up on psychedelics that she thought she was shooting something else.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing. But yeah, she's in it. And she talks like Patty Mayonnaise, and it's super weird.
So that's the real actress then?
Yep.
Because that's a live action show.
Indeed.
Wow, that's amazing. I gotta YouTube that. I'm curious. Yeah, so this is might be a little grindy for a bit. I'm trying to get the treasure and collect some items for crafting. In particular, I always make sure to get the Ninetails hat because that's got a huge evasion boost. And whenever I play this game, I always build Shroud's evasion because you combine that with the counterattack skill that he gets during the monastery sequence, which will start soon enough, and you just have situations where Shroud is like dodging all these attacks and hitting back.
Yeah, it makes him like a one-on-one monster.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Especially future fights with the Sparrow.
Yeah, no, that helps. Yeah,
spoiler.
Well, I think everybody knows Sparrow's coming back. I don't think that's spoiling too much.
Yeah, that's true. Is that moth named the Thing?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, this place has some cool monsters. I remember you said in the last one that you were a bit worried about trying to make this dungeon unique, so it's essentially just a forest.
Yeah, well, that was what Mark struggled with for a while. Was just not sure how he was going to make it, stand up to his other work. But he came through. We had some good monsters. He came up with a lot of good water-based puzzles, and I think it holds up pretty well. I mean, it's probably no ice temple.
The music's gorgeous too. I love it. I know you referenced that last time too.
Yeah. Alright, so let's see how we're doing on... It's always the same mob too. I'm looking for more foxes so I can get the foxtails.
Yeah.
Come on.
You may hear the whines of a small dog, because there's indeed a small dog whining.
Yes, I have a very spoiled dog who... I don't know why. She's been walked, she's been fed, she's got water. I don't know what her problem is, but she's being noisy, so if you hear that, it's not one of my kids, thank God. It's just a dog.
So, at what point do these three chaps learn their next sort of game-changing skill? Is that coming soon?
Yeah, I think if he hasn't learned it already, Shroud will get a Blue Norther, which is the cold wind. So it's a wind attack with a bit of an ice element too, which is pretty helpful in this arc because there's a lot of fire-based opponents.
As you'll soon see.
Yeah, not just here, but like just throughout it.
What's that? The clan with they have the Ember.
Yeah, the Ember mages.
Yeah, that's right. And Finley doesn't like them.
Well, Finley finds out that they're ripping off his using his family's invention for evil, and the family's like, Jesus Christ Almighty! This is what I get for trying to run away. See, these mushrooms have a move that slows you down, and then they can't run away, and then getting their asses kicked. But we'll come back. That's what I like about this battle system. I know sometimes we get some shit for it because it's not like the most original thing in the world, but you can really come back from the brink, especially with 3 characters. It's harder with 2.
I always really enjoyed the boss fights in this game. They just tend to be like really like thematic and like the mechanics that you need to beat them make sense with the characters and everything. I just thought that they're always like very story driven fights and not just some random demon who's like, you're in my land or some shit. Like, I used to do that a lot in my games.
Yeah, well, even Clean Slate had a couple of those. Now this is the first inkling of the fairy side quest that's to come, where we meet this fairy who has a very nice little shack here, and it was because she was getting attacked by the forest animals so much that she made a big stink at the legislature, and they finally got her additional funding. And it's just funny because the fairies are so childlike, but when this subject comes up, they sound like, very kind of professional, and this is their vocation.
And this is when your years of attending town meetings really helps with the vocabulary and the way that these issues are discussed, so it sounds realistic for you to listen to a lot of these conversations.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, just talking about like funding things and shit like that. Well, I'm still short for the Ninetails, it looks like. 2 more. I can't remember. I think the fairy might sell them.
Oh, that's good.
No, I guess not. Shit. There was one version of the game where she did, or maybe it's the next fairy who sells like old crafting items or something like that. I can't remember. Or maybe we just got rid of that altogether. Alright, so oh wait, no, that uses foxtails too, so I don't want that. Toxic boots. Give me those. And if I get enough for that ring too, that would be good, because that makes you immune to burn.
Oh yeah, again, going to be useful very soon.
Yeah, so it's good to have at least one character with one of those. But I know some people who are hardcore and they grind enough to make Phoenix rings for all 3 of the characters just for that fight.
That's pretty impressive. I did not do that.
No, I haven't done it in any of my playthroughs either. Who should wear the toxic boots? I mean, they all have pretty good boots already. I guess you can take a hit on speed.
Yeah, first you say no, then you get out of there.
Eh.
You talked about that already, right?
Yeah, I told that one. So yeah, he can take a hit on speed because his evasion's going to go up when I get that Ninetails. Alright, so let's see.
Yeah. Another reason to have him as good evasion is because he has a lot of healing stuff.
Here we go.
Keep him alive. Oh yeah, threes.
Let's take these guys out, climb their tails. In theory, I can get the 9 tails just from this mob. Oh no, they only have 2 tails each. So no, I would have to fight for more. But of course, it's a random drop.
I guess there must be like there must be a whole lot of these things hanging around. Because I feel like if this happened in real life, there'd be some poaching allegations. killing these blue foxes.
True. I hope they're not an endangered species. And taking their tails and making like really good hats out of them.
Yeah, it sounds like some like ivory harvesting or something.
Blood tails.
Well, we'll just pretend that this is overpopulated. It's like deer in like North America. They're just all over the place.
You got to thin out their numbers, like South Park says.
Yeah.
Got 1 foxtail out of that. Okay, so a little more.
That's a good place to grind.
Yeah, you're right by the fairy shack. Not these fuckers again.
Yeah, man, those mushrooms. There's something about them. They're just annoying as hell. They look annoying. They do annoying things.
Well, they deep buff the hell out of you. You can't run away.
These little smiling fucks. So, while you're grinding, I'll just ask quick. What's your opinion on this trend of people dressing up as clowns and freaking people out? Can you hear about this?
Yeah, there's even some in Connecticut I read about where I live. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of funny, but like...
Well, apparently Stephen King's spoken out and said, guys, stop fucking around with the clown stuff. I mean, and he's the, one of the birthers of the scary clown movement.
Yeah, him and the movie adaptation. Stephen King wrote the book It, which is, as most of you probably know, it's got the killer clown Pennywise, and I love that book. I think it's brilliant. And there's a mini-series which is fun. It's a little patchy in quality, but it's fun because Tim Curry plays the clown. He's really good. But that TV movie terrified like a generation of kids.
Yeah, including me.
Like, it's amazing how many people you talk to, and they're scared of clowns because of that movie. And I actually saw a funny bit on Samantha Bee's show. They were talking about Maine and like how it's kind of declining population because everybody there is so old, and we have family there, so we know of what we speak. And then she goes, and there's also that problem of the killer clown like taking out people. And I just had footage of it, so that was good.
Yeah, Samantha Bee is pretty funny. I feel like she doesn't get enough respect. She's very funny.
Yeah, she's good. I mean, a lot of new talk show hosts have sort of sprung up around this election, and I really like her stuff. It's got just amount of righteousness for me. I like to have some indignation along with the jokes. It really hits the spot. Okay, here we go. A nice batch of foxes here. So yeah, the clown thing. It's kind of funny, but like, I don't know. I mean, I would hate to think that kids being afraid to go out and stuff because of that. I mean, I guess that's not.
Yeah, I don't mind seeing it done on college campuses or something. But yeah, like
Right.
like around parks, that's no good.
No, I mean, I wouldn't want to take my kids to the local park and just see some freaky ass guy dressed as a bloody clown just standing in the wilderness.
I saw one of those like shared things on Facebook where some guy posted a Craigslist ad saying who wants to dress up as Vikings and go mess with the clowns.
Oh my god, that'd be so good. Oh look, I just got Blue Norther.
Oh nice, chart shot. What did Stoll get?
He got Crosscut, which is
nice.
an upgrade of his.
And the animation for that is when you mess up those Lodites. That's the animation, right? Is that Crosscut?
No, I'm pretty sure that's Blade Chaos.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't get a single foxtail off of that. That's
life is tough.
Bandito. It is. Okay,
here's
two
more.
See, here's Blue Norther, and then Crosscut. Let's just try them all out. Dyna Shot.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those power spikes you get in this game. Just certain skills totally just change your strategies and everything.
Yeah, well, one of the changes that Mark made during some of the different versions of this game was that some skills would replace like obsolete ones. Like Stoic's original bludgeon or whatever that move is gets replaced by bone cleave and then now crosscut, and it eventually becomes eightfold at the end of the game, which is an awesome attack.
Yeah.
And some people like that, clean up the menu, but actually some people were kind of annoyed that they didn't have that little attack to finish off a weak opponent and save magic points, because there is a strategic element to sort of holding on to the
weak attack with low mana usage.
Right, you can be very efficient with it. Here we go, the Ninetails.
Yeah, you got all these good spells, you got the Ninetails, so
we are in good shape.
Yeah.
We can go take on the boss.
I still miss the days of bow and all.
Yeah, those combos.
I know you discussed at length why that mechanic was just not palatable for a serious game, but
it was just very.
It was funny.
It was very unpolished.
Yeah,
but it was good for laughs. Bow and all.
Is that spot? Did you really try to do that because of Chrono Trigger? Is that why you tried that in the first place?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's probably one of the gold standards for combos in games.
Hell yeah, yeah. I mean, Chrono Trigger. If anyone here has somehow not played it, do so immediately.
Yeah, it's every now and then on RPG making forums they do lists of what games have inspired you. That one, everybody says that one. It's uncanny. It's the only one that comes up all the time.
Yeah. All right, so we should talk about this, or you should.
Yes. So we have this is a character from Clean Slate, and if anybody watched the Clean Slate Let's Play, then of course you know who. She's a fire elemental, though. If you haven't played it, you don't know that yet. And Finley and Shroud don't. And this is an interesting scene because Finley knows some of this history because he's been well educated. Shroud knows almost nothing. He knows who Lysander is, and that's about it. But he's got no.
Oh dear.
He's got no tact, and Seth's sort of, grief-driven attack on General Lysander near the end of the game.
Oh my god.
So anybody who has played Clean Slate will have it, or watched it, has a new appreciation for how inflammatory what he just said was. No pun intended. And I hope you caught that sprite animation of her like exploding, because that was Anchor's work, and he did a really good job with that. And we also have these the dubious benchmark here. This is the first battler in the game that was never replaced by one of Anchor's. This is RTP.
Yeah, she looks a bit like a red Smurf, or Smurfette, I should say.
It's so friggin' cartoonish. And I saw the one that he was working on, and it looked really cool. There's all these unfinished ones lying around. But he just, all the coloring and inking and stuff was always a long process for him, and some fell by the wayside, including this one. And there'll be some more in this arc, but it's a lot better than it used to be. I mean, we've gone through 2 entire arcs and another dungeon in this one, and it's been all original art for the battlers, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you guys had an art budget, really, so getting all that art is pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, so we couldn't pay him anything, so it was really impressive.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cleaning your clock right now, but I just leveled up a lot while grinding in the forest. This used to be a lot harder, I think, and it used to have a different song.
Yeah, it was Sacramento Wilderness by Nightwish, wasn't it?
Yes, we had a Nightwish song, and the reason for that was because Nightwish was mostly just because Nightwish just played a lot in Clean Slate. I mean, if you watch the Let's Play, you know that. And some people figured Clean Slate characters coming back, let's bring Nightwish back. But people pointed out, rightly, I think, that the song was so epic, and this fight isn't really epic.
Yeah, I mean, you just won in like a minute.
Yeah, but even if you have a harder time, it's just not, story-wise, it doesn't have like the heft that would match using a song like that. So we eventually took it out and replaced it with a sort of a more familiar kind of boss theme that we use a couple times during the game. And I like this scene for what it brings out in Stoic, because he's like, again, no pun intended, but he's lost his cool. Like, Stoic is desperate right now to get her to calm down, and he does. She starts crying, and Sprite does animate a little bit there. And one of the tougher questions I got over the course of the game was, if Zala can't be exposed to water, what is coming out of her eyes when she cries?
Oh, wow.
And so I thought about that, and I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, so some of the fans they're onto it with these questions.
Yeah, so I just imagine it's some substance with a completely different chemical composition that won't hurt her. That's the best I got for that. I mean, well, we just missed it, but Shroud and Finley are having a really douchey conversation.
Yeah, a little bit of Shroud's inner bro came out.
Yeah, he's definitely got a bro streak. It's not flattering. But this is sort of updating Zala's, updating Clean Slate players on what Zala's been doing. But there's a more central plot reason, which is that they assume that she's the one who set fire to the guardhouse. And what are you blathering about now? Be thankful you're still alive. But Shroud realizes correctly that she's actually a very convenient scapegoat for Equipment King's schemes. Whereas if they send somebody out to set fire, people are going to blame the local fire elemental, and not suspect the truth. Yeah, Finley's not happy. And I guess this could be considered one of those moments where Shroud has one of those deductions that just happens to be like perfectly right, and some people don't like that, But I think it makes sense with what he's seen already, and he's just kind of got a good deductive mind when he puts his mind to it.
Yeah, I never really noticed that he was pretty quick to come up with these solutions to these things. It never really bothered me.
Well, this one is less objectionable to people, I think, than the one after the kids get kidnapped at the mine in Arc 2. I think the fact that Shroud immediately assumes Equipment King was responsible and turns out to be right, I think that was a bridge too far for a lot of people, and I get that. But for me, I mean, and I talked about this in that chapter, but it's all about that question of who benefits. And once Stoic asked that question, Shroud sort of followed it to the conclusion. And here we are at the monastery. I'm not sure what Alex will think of this, because he's now employed on a college campus.
Yes, indeed.
And so,
yeah, this looks like some of those classic liberal arts institutions that costs basically your entire mortgage, all of your assets to go to.
Yeah,
pretty nice old place. This looks like high class.
There's there's jokes about the tuition. Tuition's a running gag. Like Shroud doesn't get around to paying it till the very end of the game, because he just can't afford it. He doesn't intend to stay long. But of course, what winds up happening is that he becomes a student just to get access to the library, because he wants to see what they have on the hand and whatnot. But what happens is he winds up just really enjoying the student life, which throws him for a loop.
I feel like you could have made a spin-off series here of him just going to parties and joining clubs.
Exactly.
And stuff.
Well, I was thinking that this is the point in the game where it almost turns into television for a while. There's a level of detail that I associate with television that's kind of leisurely. It's easy to, you get to know characters, and you see, the daily routines, and people get into it.
Yeah, I can say from where I work, it's not this easy to enroll students.
No, I don't think it's. Yeah,
this is an artifact of the times.
This is some license being taken here. It's sort of rationalized later that the monastery is just desperate for students, because young people are rejecting religious teachings because of hearing nightmare stories about Gallia growing up. But it is not this easy to enroll. You can't just walk in and sign up for your classes, get your textbooks, and you're off to class within 10 minutes. But I wanted to make this plot thing happen. What can I say?
Yeah, Saad obviously. They didn't look at his application or anything, but he's pretty smart. He's taken this course about physical combat, and obviously he's dominant in that. So it's not like he's some goon just walking in. He's pretty qualified. He's a smart guy. 15,000 GP, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, he says something here too. He's like, how's anyone supposed to afford that? Okay, so I think we'll stop here. We'll begin the monastery proper next time. And let's find the building where the class is first. Okay. And that about brings us to an end.
All right,
thanks for watching.
Peace, bros.